agus fáilte go phrògram éile dé trí seascad in phrògram ag BBC Alba le spórs na bhan ag a Cruinne. Is me Iona Ballantyne agus ha mi tolite ra go bhfuil a bhan-Oilimpigeach agus rinne badminton bhretain Kirsty Gilmour cholarúm san stiùidio. Ar phrògram na héiche noch, Géibh si bhín agus uair bh Kirsty is sé bliadhna thrang éile. Cúteach cluiche bh Erin McIlvaney, cluicheadair badminton á go bhíos a pharpais ag dh'aithghearr ag Geamaichean Thar-Phlanntachadh na Cruinne in Australia, agus ha bod ar ág Albannach Lucy Coutts a bruidhinn amas éiche fáin chun na Geamaichean Oilimpigeach. Kirsty, welcome to 360.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to actually have you on the sofa. We've had you as a feature guest before, but because you're here for the first time, and for those who might not have seen that programme way back when, just bring us to the start of badminton for you. It has been a very long career so far, still more to come, I know that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I started playing when I was probably 4 years old. My dad was the national junior coach. My uncle is a former internationalist and was my coach for a bit. Then he went off and went real world job, and now he's back kind of full circle in the national as a national coach. My mum needs me to tell you that she has a national Scottish skills title.
Oh,
as
amazing.
well.
So it's totally in the family.
All through the family, yeah, absolutely. And then so I just got into the kind of national squads and everything, and then I went to the Glasgow School of Sport for high school, and then just went directly into the senior squads after that, or kind of during that, and then ever since, and here we are.
So badminton's always been your thing. Did you ever realise at one point where it would take you in the world?
Well, I think I actually had to make the decision between football and badminton when I was about 11 or 12, kind of going into School of Sport, and it was kind of just badminton from about that age. But kind of yes. Actually, I kind of counted on it. I got my first kind of real taste of like proper travel with the 2010 Commonwealth Games in Delhi. I was a baby. I was fresh turned 17, and I was just on this massive team full of incredible athletes, and yeah, just got the chance to travel the world, and then just really got a taste for it since then.
It has been some journey for you since then. Like I say, you've been all over the world. You've competed in 2 Olympics so far, 4 Commonwealth Games. Do you know how many medals you have?
Not specifically. I do. I'm trying to keep track in a way. I kind of have.
Show us how you keep track.
So I have Olympic rings tattoo, and then I have
amazing.
The dots are tournament wins or major medals, so European medals, Commonwealth medals. I say I'm trying to keep track because I think I need to add one. I should have written them out, but yeah.
So we're talking there, we've got 4 rows of 5 and an extra one, so we're talking around 21, 22.
Yeah.
That is incredible. I know you've got them out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 times in your arm. Can you even remember where each one is?
I could try to rule them off, but I'm gonna miss some. Tournament wins would be Poland, Switzerland, Spain, Scottish, Czech, Sweden. Oh God, we're only at 10.
11, 12 more.
Yeah, high-low, and then major medals. We would have Commonwealth Games, European. Oh, we're at 18. We're getting there.
Yeah, you're getting there.
I'll think of the other ones.
That is amazing. I mean, there's so much to take in there. I know it's difficult, but are there any that kind of stick out as some of your favourite moments?
I think that the Glasgow Commonwealth Games one will always be special, just because of the circumstances and because of how I won that medal. So I'd won the first set in the semi-final. I'd won the first set, and then I was 19-11 down, and we're the first to 21. So if I'd lost this set, it would have gone to a third one. But something in my brain really didn't want that to happen, and I won 10 straight points, which just doesn't happen in sport in general, but certainly not in badminton. So yeah, 10 straight points to seal at least a silver medal. That was pretty special.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible hearing all of this. Did that point, even in Glasgow, did that feel like a bit of a turning point in your career, or did you already know at that point just what was to come?
I was already like really serious, and it was already like my full-time commitment, but I think that really sparked something in that, like, oh, I'm gonna need more of this. Like this is fun, like this moment, and then like what happens after that in terms of just that little bit more presence that you have on the court, and that little bit more belief that you have in yourself, because you could choose to look at it as a kind of fluke. I was 20, which is so young thinking about it now. But I think that like sheer naivety like really helped me not overthink things. Whereas I think if I put myself in that arena now, I'm so much more capable as a badminton player, but I also have so many more thoughts up here that could potentially like undo that. But I really work on that with sports psychology. So yeah, it was just the perfect mixture of age and stage and arena, I think.
That's incredible. There's been so much happened since then too. We just had the Birmingham Commonwealth Games. We'll talk about actually your play shortly, but even then you were the flag bearer for Scotland. That when you got that email through, how did you feel?
Ridiculous. That's not something that you can plan. You can't write that on your sporting bucket list of things that you hope to achieve. Like I hope to achieve all of like the major medals, so Commonwealths, Europeans, Worlds and Olympics. We've arguably got the easier two, we've got like harder two to go, but it's not something that you can aim for because it's chosen by the rest of the team, which is just super nice. Like how nice is that like, yeah, people checked my name in a little box and I get to carry the flag with Mickey Yule, who's an absolute legend. And yeah, I couldn't have wished for more.
That must have been such a special moment.
Absolutely. Oh, walking out and just to be at the front and not have to like jostle for position within the Team Scotland, just to, yeah, I'll be standing at the front. That was super nice.
It's so cool. And also another thing I have to mention with that is that you're also the first openly gay athlete to carry the flag. It's crazy that that's even a conversation in 2022, but for you, I mean, that will help so many more people too. Yeah, I really hope so. And it's not something I've ever like tried to hide, because I don't know, I just want people to be able to see that like not all like coming out stories have to be difficult and feature like harassment or bullying, because I've been so lucky, I've had so little of that, if really any, and I just, you know, it'd be cool for other people to see that it's not always super difficult and hard, and you can just live quite a nice normal life. It doesn't all have to be kind of pain and strife. So no. But I'm not asking for any of that. That wasn't an invitation either. But yeah, it's never really been like a thing for me. It's just kind of living my life. It's so, I mean, that's really lovely to hear. But I think for other people, for other athletes who maybe have had difficulties, seeing you up there will give them so much hope and so much strength too. I hope so. Yeah, just like even just a little bit, like every single piece of representation just goes so like such a long way to, like, if one little kid sees that and is like, oh, like I didn't realize that was possible. Because all the kind of representation that or not all, but like a lot of the representation is a lot of kind of, you know, it's going to be difficult, you're going to have to play this strategically. I've really never thought about it that way. And so, yeah, it was just nice to be out there being me. Oh, it was great to see you. And I know that actually when you're taking part in the Commonwealth Games, maybe a little bit of frustration coming forth, but how would you sum up that experience last year? Birmingham was one of the hardest events in my entire career. I was struggling with some back issues before it. So, I mean, if someone had offered me 4th place when I was face up in an MRI machine, I might have shaken their hand and said, okay. But considering I managed to actually get to a good place with like the medical team, and then to get that 4th, it really stings, considering I've kind of gone silver, bronze, 4th. And some people might see it as a backwards progression, but to me, I give it my all every single time, and it literally comes down to like on the day. And considering I had half a back, it wasn't my day. Yeah, so. Well, Kirsty, bronze, silver, 4th. We know what's still to come, and that's gold. We'll get there. Sure, that's the plan anyway. Thank you. Nou, Geamaichean en cluicheadair badminton Erin McIlvaney grúin uair in uair a bhain páiste. Ach inis dúsan bliana agus ha a genu Australia gus bretain a riachachug a Geamaichean Thar-Phlanntachadh na Cruinne. Bhrain sinúí Erin agus a maithir Kirsty gus túigh ein amach múna Geamaichean agus an scíalach éige.
Tá spóir páirs chutarmach a chluich an bethe Erin McIlvaney bh ús glí ág. Ach bha tlíisteach go spórt car an Jeffreyte. Nu nach rá Erin ach seachcin in na dúis, jas hi uavasach tín le trippeltin grúhan, a is Geamaichean upper launsa.
We just entered a whole new world. So she had her first surgery when she was 7 weeks old, and they were hoping that that was going to be enough to fix the problem, but about a third of the children that have this condition need a transplant fairly urgently after. So she had a big surgery in Leeds, and then we travelled home to wait and see, and we thought it would be 6 months before we would know whether the surgery had worked. But very quickly she began to show signs that she had liver failure. By this point she was about 5 months old, and we really wanted her to have a Christmas. So we were very lucky that they let us take her home for a week for Christmas. And then after that, we had another journey to Leeds to think about transplant assessment and see where that led. It was like being on a parallel road to everyone else. I had other friends who had these newborn babies, and they were worrying about normal things like colic and teething, and we were thinking about NG feeding and how to sort medicines. So it was a completely different journey, but we were hugely supported by not only our close friends and family, but also the medical staff that looked after us in Glasgow, and also in Leeds. We were sharing a lot of our firsts, if you like, as parents with people who became as close as our family, really. So we had spectacular care in both hospitals, and we felt like we had this little army around us. But then when we were in Leeds waiting on transplant, we all felt incredibly helpless, because no matter how much everyone wanted to support us and how fantastic the medical team were, we were all completely helpless, because what she needed, nobody could give her. There was all these specialist surgeons ready to go at the drop of a hat, but what we really needed was the kindness of strangers, to be honest, to help us out of this situation.
Hannig an tamars an Thar-Phlanntachadh ein, a is jödach parentan Erin is smuinechach an cordje bethe san na chiad am.
One of the things I vividly remember was on the wall of the Leeds Children's Hospital was pictures of children at the British Transplant Games, and they were all super smiley kids holding medals, cheering, and every time we came out of our room, that was what was facing you, and it was. I remember thinking, I hope we just get to that point. I think once we were on the other side of transplant and we started to think that this could happen, you start getting greedy, and you stop thinking, oh, I just want her to get to Christmas, and then I just want her to get to her birthday, and you start thinking, I want her to get to the Transplant Games, I want her to be an active, happy child like those kids on the pictures. And then you start imagining all the things that you thought were never going to happen for her. And seeing her grow up and having that community around her, and having other children around her who could maybe understand what she was going to have to go through.
Hug na Geamaichean Thar-Phlanntachadh bhréithtin, corm da Erin agus a teolach, cheolichin Ellis an uansaigeachadh a chonneachadh. Han na Geamairin buin charjin láidir a horto Erin, a han nochdadh, for a surin jólas in a bhiach a còmhla.
I think it's 4 sports you get to choose from, and there's a couple social events you can do. There's so many varieties though, and it's not like you have to stick to the same thing every year. You can always switch it up, and as you get older, the options vary and change. So like when you're younger, you might be doing like a wee beanbag toss, but once you get a wee bit older, you can start doing like archery, 10-pin bowling, like slightly different things. So there's a huge variety. There's so many people that I've became friends with. We even like we visit them sometimes. It's not like we just see them at the games. Like speak to them. Like obviously, like now I'm a wee bit older, like text them and stuff like that. So it's really nice. I've got to see them and that we can talk about stuff together. Because obviously, all my friends are like at school and stuff. They're great at like understanding like about my transplant and stuff. But it's just a wee bit nicer when you talk to someone with someone that's like been through it, and when they do those sports as well, they can like understand a bit better.
Ag an toiseach bhain na geiminin mo dhéon díal sin na dheanú. Achan nes ha Erin ar fócus a chuir ar badminton. Si de seo barach a chuir isteach an spórsaiche. Sfeim I a dheanú go scipilte, or chai a tuag brechtain a bhuchgahug ag na Geamaichean Thar-Phlanntachadh na Cruinne out in Australia.
I didn't really think that. I genuinely really didn't think about it because I was in the younger categories. Normally they look for people, like they're looking out at people in the older categories, but they seem to be looking, and I was shocked. I mean, yeah, I got the email and my parents told me to go check my phone. I came downstairs and I was like, Australia? I was like completely in shock. I did not expect it at all.
But I think now it's starting to get to her that she can actually excel at something. So it's giving her that little bit of a drive. She's definitely upped her training game quite a lot.
It's going really well. I've kind of figured out what I need to work on and what I've kind of got, not nailed to a T obviously, but definitely stuff I need to improve on more to get it all at the same level and a better level for when I eventually go.
And she's been watching a bit more badminton and thinking about where it could take her, and the fact that it's already taken her to the other side of the world is opening up her eyes to where sport can go.
Mar páirse ullachug Erin ha ar session na dheanú le runach badminton na Alba Kirsty Gilmour, far a bhfuil ar tóra dúnsachug. Han che ág ag gatachug go bhfuil a dóchreitseneach a bhí ruchachug brechtain. Ach ha ar bhiran mun chorm.
It's insane, genuinely, when it didn't feel real. These tracksuits that I'm like wearing now, they look amazing, and I've only seen them on TV. I've never actually met someone wearing one, and the fact that I'm wearing it is just insane. Since I've never been before, this is my first time making the connections of everyone else in that team. There's someone I know that also is in the Leeds team at the British Games. She'll be going, so it'll be nice to know her, but obviously getting to know everyone else. Because as well, it's like more dominant with adults and stuff, and getting to meet them and make those connections I think will be really nice.
Ha Kirsten mahad Erin chótangel in níon aichen arten uairún gach bliadhna. Awn an bethe a dúideach a bhí go túr idirgealaite, mar a bán caine strangerin.
I think when Erin was first diagnosed, you go through all the emotions of grief. To be honest, you have an idea of what your child's life is going to be like, and in the beginning those were completely crashed. And I've always said this journey's been a bit like a roller coaster. The lows are pretty crushing, but the highs of seeing her achieve things that we never thought possible are just incredible. And I think that that's the gift that organ donation gives you. You know how much it means to see them doing anything, never mind having these fantastic opportunities. And we're just keen that other people get to see how much organ donation gives to not just our family, but you know, her wider family and friends, her school community, our neighbours. You know, this positive ripple effect has had an impact on hundreds of people, and that's just from one transplant.
Ha Erin an nóchas go a ddíirech an thoiseach a bhís aus na Geamaichean Thar-Phlanntachadh na Cruinne. Si ar sonna dúithe ruchgahug ar an ard úlar a smór san blianachan na hín.
If I get the opportunity to, I'd love to. It's been great. Yeah, definitely getting more practice. I think if I got the opportunity to, absolute yes. This has been, I mean, it's not even been that long and I'm already really excited. So yeah, definitely, if I got to.
Kirsty, what an amazing story. How much did you enjoy seeing just how far Erin has come?
It was really cool. I don't know Erin very well, but the hour and a half that I spent with her, it's so inspiring just to see someone engage so much, and she's just so excited to go to these massive games, as well she should be, and it was great even to see her improvement over like the hour that we spent hitting. It was really, really nice.
Tell us more about that hour and a half that you had together. What did you kind of work on, or tips or tricks that you gave to Erin that she can then implement?
Oh, she wouldn't stop asking questions.
Oh,
it was great. I'd much rather it that
I
way
love
than
that.
just silence. So no, it was great. She was chewing my ear off about everything that I could possibly tell her.
Really? Some secrets?
Some tricks of the trade.
Yeah.
But we did some kind of technique things, getting her overhead shots a bit smoother. She's a lefty, which will bode well for her on a badminton court. But yeah, we just did some movement drills and some technical stuff. And then, yeah, she asked me all about competing on big stages and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was so nice to see someone so excited about sport.
And what could you say from competing on a big stage? What advice would you give to somebody like Erin?
The biggest thing when you're that age and stage is to have fun, to enjoy it. Like, nothing is going to go well if you don't take a second to enjoy it and like stop and look around and like think about what you're doing and like how cool this is. I think people really get kind of a bit internal about it, blinkers on, head down. Like, it's about the whole experience. It's not about the, you know, the 45 minutes that you're going to be on court. It's about mixing with people. It's about the dining hall. It's about the kit that you get. Those are the super fun bits. So I just told her to enjoy it as much as possible and almost take the badminton or the performance as like a bonus.
Oh, that's the thing, because Erin is so young. There's so many years ahead of her. But I love the thing about the kit, because Erin was so excited wearing that Great Britain kit. I know for you, for your first Delhi Games, how was that? Oh,
super, super cool. I think we were at Stirling University for the information day before Delhi. And I had my driver's test my first driving lesson the next week, I think, yeah. Because I was just about to turn 17, yeah. And yeah, we were in the tennis courts at Stirling Uni, and it was the whole courts was covered with duffel bags with everyone's individual kit in it. So that was a pretty special day when you get that bag. And like Commonwealth Games kit is something, but the amount of kit that you get for an Olympic Games is. It's like nothing else. It's three bags, and rumour has it it's about 60 kilos of kit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh my goodness.
And that'll never stop being fun.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing for that Delhi one. That was the first of many kits for you.
Oh, I've kept a couple of pieces from each kit, so that's like 6 kits, 7 if you include a European Games, which is also part of Team GB. And yeah, my spare room is a
kit show.
A kit shop, yeah, pretty much. I don't know what to keep and what to give away. It's really hard.
Keep it all. It's full of memories.
Oh, I can't keep it all.
But that's the thing, when you see Erin, she's just so excited wearing that, and actually just so excited to represent Great Britain. I mean, for you, what is it like representing Great Britain in Scotland?
I would say they're very different, but like the premise is the same. Because I play singles, it's like the most individual of all the badminton events and of all the sports. Pretty much, you're so isolated on your side of the court. So if you get the chance to be part of a team, I love playing my club matches in Denmark. I love playing for Team Scotland. I love playing for Team GB. It's just like you all have a common purpose, which I've like kind of got that with me and my coach. We have this common purpose, and we've got this like really close working relationship. But that's almost like built in, like baked in to like a team environment, and it's just the nicest. It's so it's such a cliche that you can just go into the dining hall and sit next to someone wearing a Scotland top or a GB top, but you can. It's really strange.
It's amazing. Hopefully you've got many more of them to come.
A couple.
You do. But I mean, before we get into the end of this, we just need to take a moment for Erin's mum, Kirsten, too, because she has been through so much on this journey. They've been through so much together, but actually to see her daughter compete now for Great Britain in Australia, how must that feel?
Oh, I can only imagine how that feels. I'm not a mother.
Yeah.
But the fact that Erin's chosen to channel all of her energies into sport, I think just speaks volumes. I think sport does what like nothing else can. It brings people together, regardless of like the health benefits. Erin's such a confident 12-year-old. Have you ever seen more confident 12-year-olds? It just gives you the ability to kind of stand on your own 2 feet, like be big and confident. And I'm so happy that they've chosen to channel into sport, and like specifically badminton, because I wish more people would pick up a badminton racket, and that is a hint.
That must make you so happy to see. But we do wish Erin a huge good luck for Australia, and we'll be keeping an eye on how she gets on.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wel, ha cor is fichit bliadhna ann, fo chai bod ar Albannach thug son na Geamaichean Oilimpeach, ach gwytach sin airachug leis a fod ar Lucy Coutts a géiris na ranganan agus a gamas na Geamaichean Oilimpeach.
Thug Albannach Lucy Coutts bóin thoiseach a sé a piúd éicin gáil páist. Bhn nuair sin ha ar glúas an suas tro rankin na hoigtí de bótarach, si a trénach sa farpaseach malarisha Coutts over scola.
I would say growing up I did a lot of different sports. There wasn't one particular sport that I did, and then when I found archery that kind of became the particular sport that I did. It's a bit of a strange journey. We were away on holiday in Bulgaria when I was younger, and it was just one of the activities that we could do while we were over there. And we tried it and my sister really got into it. So when we came home we found a local club. She started and then a few months later I started, and then it just grew from there. There wasn't really a point, I just kind of kept on growing what I was doing. We've got a local competition, you started doing that and then the competition just got bigger and bigger. You know, there's definitely times in the year when it's a lot quieter, so we're not having to do as much training. But then in the summer you could be training every day, it's quite busy and hectic.
Ha Lucy fine na chiad gach bliadhna, ach sam an 2020 sa jaar a bhóithíonn aithrisean agus smór. Dhéimich Lucy beach aontin láitir a leisach an an bótarach, mar a bheith a cutarmach a bhí a farpais fó ólach.
I think definitely in the last year I've been really happy with how I've progressed. I've been busy with exams, so I've kind of not put any pressure on how I would do in archery and enjoyed it a lot more, and I've done a lot better. So I'm quite happy with how I've progressed. I think just my outlook on it, I've looked more at enjoying it and not just looking at success. With archery you have to be able to thrive well under pressure. It's definitely something I prefer when I've got a bit more pressure on me. It just seems to calm me a bit more and I'll just be shooting a bit better. I don't know if it's just you think, oh, there's a lot more riding on your shots, so all the wee things go out of your head and you're just focused. I think when you get to a certain point in archery, it all goes to mental strength and it can really make or break a competition.
Ha Lucy tangle son na thula eolas a aithrisean tro clí spórs. Agus ha find taith fór teolach, if he's a cluicheadair son farpasin.
Travelling to competitions is really fun. At the moment my parents take me to competitions, and you've got my mum and I chatting the whole way down, singing, and it's a lot of fun, and you're going down to meet up with your friends that live all across the country, and that's a really nice experience. The amount of friends and different places that I've seen has been amazing.
Si blian na mór a hawn an 2020 son Lucy, le grún choarpis an eiche dèidh. Ma hai sarf chulúnta, bíad na jo chudja chuí na Olympics arín. Targad a harfi eiche úne ata, le Albannach Guinevere a hug son bótarach son còrith dèidh.
Well, we've got a couple of indoor competitions. We've got the Scottish Championships, a kind of local area competition. That's coming up, and then outdoor seasons we've got the junior tour, so that's around the UK, the British Championships. That'll be really nice. Although I hope I'm not the first one to change it. We've got a couple of other Scottish athletes which could be making it to the next Olympics, which would be really nice. I think for everyone that's their dream, and that, you know, whatever sports you're in, everyone wants to reach the Olympics, so it'd be a dream come true to make it.
Ha Lucy son gwn fas I arfai bótarach an an Alba. Agus ha an noch is barach cluinnidh eichint in spórs.
I think it's just trying to get more people aware of the opportunities that you've got in archery. It's such a friendly sport, it's just really nice to be involved in that. Archery is one of the sports that as a female gives you a feeling of empowerment. At the end of the day it is a weapon, but the amount of just kind of strength and power you feel from being able to shoot is great.
I bharach na Geamaichean Oilimpeach arín, ha Lucy cúideach a gamas stref rangan an túil. Stocha go bhfuil a cluiche a táiseach, ach hai tangle na thula cealathach spórs hí.
Well, this year's been quite a busy year for me outside of archery, so it's mainly just to enjoy myself and have fun. Olympics is definitely in there, but it's quite a few years down the line. It's just continuing up my ranks in Britain, which would be really nice. It's been amazing. I've had, since about 2019, I've really had some good shoots and I've really enjoyed it, and I've met so many nice people that I'm just forever grateful for it.
Kirsty, another young athlete with so much ambition too in archery. How good was that to watch?
So cool. I know nothing about archery, so like I just learned some stuff.
It's brilliant, and also knowing that there are even plans to reach the Olympics. I mean, you know what that is like. Yeah. Can you just give us an insight when you're at that stage, aiming for your first one, and what's involved in it?
It's funny to think back. I'm actually having to really think back here. I do remember setting kind of, there's always the bigger target of like, I'd love to be in an Olympics. But then there's the 10 smaller ones that you have to check off before you get there. So for me, it was kind of, I remember putting down on one of our performance reviews that I was aiming to be British #1. And I kind of thought that was a bit of a long shot. But they were like, oh, let's put it down anyway. I did that, I think, within like 10 months. And then once you do like a little bit, then you're like, oh, okay, I see what we're doing here. And then you do the next one, and then they also kind of seem a bit more manageable. Yeah. So by the time an Olympic Games come around, you're like, well, yes, of course, that's where I should be. Yeah, it's that real kind of sense of confidence. So the fact that these girls are already thinking like, that's where I want to be, I love to see it. It's so good.
Yeah, seeing that ambition and those, like you say, having those goals too that you can easily work towards, and then next thing you know, you are in a Team GB kit. Absolutely, and it kind of does like she kind of alluded to there. It starts with those kind of regional ones, and then you go national, and you go European, and like I say, before you know it, like an Olympic Games is feasible. So it's that like really nice progression and that kind of building of confidence. But as we've seen today, like these girls are not short on confidence, and I think that's what sport provides, like in bucket loads, and it's so nice to see. It is great to see, and again, Lucy, another one, a great one to watch, and just to see what her future holds. But for you, you mentioned that at one point your aim was British #1. You are also Scottish #1. Amazing achievement. In the world, you're currently 16. What is the aim for you now? We're definitely looking at top 10, and my career high is 14. So I mean, I want, first of all, back into the top 15, then we'll look top 12, then we'll look top 10. But just really, I just want to, just as high as I can possibly get, really. The plan doesn't change. It's just kind of getting these really consistent results and really trusting in all the work that I'm doing in training with my coach and the rest of the team. So yeah, we're definitely looking towards that. And to break into that, there are so many tournaments and so many points to pick up. What does the year ahead for you look like now? A lot. So qualification for Paris 24 will start in May 23, and you'll qualify for a year around to May 24. 2 months to go. Yeah, so we actually have so many tournaments to go even before qualifying starts. But from qualifying onwards, I think I'll probably play between 15 to 20 tournaments, depending on health and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's about to be a wild year, more so than usual. That is a wild year. So what's the first one coming up now? Next one is, we've actually got 5 in a row coming up. So it'll be German, All England, Swiss, Spain and Orléans in France. And then after that, do we have an Asia trip? We might have an Asia trip. I think it might be Singapore and somewhere. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about the short term currently. No, but Kirsty, that is incredible. There's so much coming up. I hope you've got more room on your arm for many more dots, for many more medals. That's the plan. Because that is fantastic. But thank you so much for joining us this week. It has been so great to hear from you. Thanks for having me. I've had a lot of fun. Well, we'll definitely have you back. Well, sinna airson in noch, in a chiachgain be in cluiche Albannach Lucy Coutts còmhla sin stiùidio. Cruinne sin Geamaichean Oilimpeach BBC Alba airson thuaidh fistrachar còmhla t-seachdain-sa. Agus cluinnidh bhfuil SWPL acin dh'aithghearr sa tíon le Celtic a cluiche Glasgow City. Hí sin sibh an aithrisean.